Christmas was this ugly sweater. This ugly sweater. It makes me look just like Nat King Cole.
Welcome to this Christmas special with In the Loop with Laura. It is, I've been staying up late, I've been working on projects, and I'm trying to see if I can wait and see if I can hear Santa. I've been really good for at least this week. I've got cookies and milk and Newt the gnome, and we're in for the long haul. So grab a cocoa, a hot cider, and join me on this half hour with In the Loop with Laura. We're going to be looking at mittens, new patterns, and hopefully we'll... Wait! Do you hear that? Is it reindeer hooves on the roof? Oh, I'm so excited. Let's see what's in for store for us for the rest of the show.
Things than this ugly sweater. Ugly, 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 ugly. Thank you very much, and I'm gonna take it back. You'd better give me the receipt.
Welcome to this Friends section of In the Loop with Laura. Can you believe it? Those reindeer, those little sounds we heard earlier, they were reindeer hooves because we have Santa with us now. Santa has said he would come to In the Loop, and I hope this means I've been a good girl.
Well, now you have to tell me that.
Yeah. I am just wondering, I mean, just as a segue here, you must be so busy. I am so thankful that you have come here to the show, but this is your month. What are things like at the North Pole now?
Oh, we are just busier than little elves. I mean, we just are running around and trying to get everything finished up, and it's a lot to do.
I can't believe that you even are able to sleep at this time of year. And then it's getting so cold at the North Pole. Do you have lots of polar fleece, like textile-wise? Do you have the ski jackets? How do you guys keep warm up there?
Well, we have a lot of knitted objects. Yes. Nice gloves that Mrs. Claus knits us.
I'm so glad to hear these
and
things.
Nice scarves that Mrs. Claus knits everyone. And the elves even knit also. You know, everyone can knit. It's just so enjoyable.
Okay.
A lot of wool.
Oh, this is good news. I might have to be an even better girl. This is the way it is at the North Pole. Down here, we're really busy too. We're going around and buying holiday ornaments and presents for people that we love. I go into these big box stores and I see these things that are made kind of cheap, kind of shoddy, and these are some of the questions I've always wanted to ask you if I ever got you on the show before is, what is your idea of a good present?
Homemade crafted is so nice. And then you send it to me and I'll drop it off where it needs to go. It's perfect. It's knitted Christmas stockings. I would so much like that, to see those on mantles. It would be so nice, really nice.
I really appreciate having you here and saying these truths. Really, they're truths. And I'm sure that you feel the same way about quilted goods and crocheted goods.
Oh, yes. Nothing like a nice quilt that says, I love you. That's just the best.
And that's really
And I would be happy to deliver anything like that. I would just send it on up and I'll drop it off.
Can you deliver these things to me?
Yes, I can. If you've been good.
Oh, all right. You mentioned Mrs. Claus earlier, and we always see you. It's always you out there. Occasionally we get glimpses of her, but you're saying that she does handcraft?
Oh, she does it all year long. All year long. She quilts, she crochets, she knits, and she does some painting too.
This is the most wonderful time of the year.
Oh, it is. It's just great.
And so it's just Mrs. Claus and the elves up there who do these things?
Yes.
Are you not a textile person yourself?
I do some knitting.
Do you?
I do.
Oh,
yes.
This is wonderful.
Yes, and I brought it with me, but I don't know if I can reach it or not, but I do.
I see that you have a bag. This is not your red bag, so I didn't realize.
No, I know. Yes, that's it.
What is this Santa that you are working on?
It is a scarf
Busy little boy.
that I hope I have done in time for Christmas Eve, because feel how warm it is.
This is wonderful, and it's the red and the white. It's not quite candy cane, but it's talking to me about winter and warmth. And like you said, the love that has been knitted in here. And here are your needles. Who is the lucky person who gets this?
I'm not sure yet. Maybe Mrs. Claus.
Maybe not. You all have to be good. Christmas is coming.
That's true. That is true.
Well, I know your time is limited. I am so thankful that you took a few minutes here. Kids, keep your eyes out for this guy and for some hand-knitted goods. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you for coming, Santa.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
You should see this ugly sweater. Ugly, unattractive, ugly sweater. He looks like crap in his Christmas sweater.
Welcome to the book corner and also a project corner for this Christmas special with In the Loop with Laura. It is almost time for Christmas, and you are probably going crazy baking and cleaning and putting the Christmas tree back up after the dog knocks it over and everything. But take a minute, just sit down, turn off the phone, turn off the electronic stuff, take a little time by the fireplace, having a hot cocoa, reading a good book, or sitting down and doing some projects. Not only could you do a short project for Christmas, or maybe for someone's birthday, or even for Christmas next year, you could also just experience having your stress level go down. There have been numerous studies that show that knitting, crocheting, crafting help lower your blood pressure, help you breathe a little better, and help you enjoy yourself. So I'd encourage you to try those things. I have brought in a few of my projects and a few books to encourage you and spark some creativity for you. Some of these I have. This is a girl's shawl. I have a woman's shawl I'll show you in a minute. Here's a very easy hat project. All this is knit and purl on a circular needle. We've got some nice mittens. Hats don't take long. There's only one of them. People only have one head, as opposed to mittens where you're done. You have to make another one. So hats are a fun project. And another fun project is a cowl. This is out of a super soft yarn. It's a scarf, but you don't have to knit it forever. You knit it in the round, and then you can put it on and keep your neck warm underneath a coat. Or you can just wear it with a shirt around as a fancy form of a necklace. These are patterns that I have created. This one is free online. It's called Shazam, and you can download it on Ravelry.com, www.ravelry.com, under my username, which is Laura Ricketts, in one word, 2 T's, 1 S. This one is also my pattern, and it's called Wavy Gravy Man. It is available on patternfish.com, at Ravelry, or on my website, which is laurarickettsdesigns.com. And I will show you what some of these patterns look like. Here is the Shazam project, and this is the free one. When you download it, you would download a PDF and you would print it off of your computer. It's just got 2 pages. This is a project I challenged myself when I turned 40 to design a project. I designed it and knitted in a day. There I am. So a day. This is another one that's available online, Puffball Beret. And here are the wavy gravies. Here we've got a friend from church, Josh. I've had another local friend model that one too. And here is beautiful Beth Brady modeling this. And I've got these here as well. Here are the fingerless mitts that she modeled. These don't take too long to do. There are, of course, 2 of them. And some more pictures of her. And this is a pattern that's available online. I think it's $8 for the cowl. And that cowl is here. Oops, that's the hat. Well, for the cowl, the hat, and the fingerless gloves. And then I also have some other, here's another free one that's available online. I just saw a picture from an online store and thought, oh, I could make that. So I did. I also have brought in some other books that are available at the public library. Here is a knit Christmas stockings. Christmas stockings are a great way to do your first sock because they're big. You do them on big needles, and when you're done, you only need to make one. This whole book will walk you through. Here's even better, a miniature felted mitt and stocking. Again, you only have to do one. They'll take you through how you cast on, how you do the thumb, how you do this. And then felting means that you put it in probably a washing machine with hot water, and it shrinks it down a little bit. Here are some fancy ones. Perhaps you've never done color work. This is a great way to start. No one's ever going to wear this stocking. If the inside looks messy, they don't care as long as there's something in it when they open it on Christmas Day. Here's another one. You can do lots of different colors. And here is a sample that I brought in that my third cousin made for one of my sons, and it's really sweet. She used a really fuzzy yarn here for Santa's beard. It's an Angora. And here's a stocking Santa's filling right now. This is actually quite ambitious because this is all intarsia. Here's his stockings by the chimney. And I brought in another one that my mother-in-law, Jane Ricketts, made for the same son when he was a baby. We haven't done cross-stitch. I would love to have someone who cross-stitches come on and we can talk about it. This is so time-intensive to do all of this. A real work of love. And I bet some of you hadn't even thought about the different textiles you have at home for Christmas when you're getting things out. Once you have mastered stockings, you could move on and do a, excuse me, a set of socks. This is a great book that is at the public library, and it has, again, this is texture, this is knit and purl, this one is color work. Some of these are great. This one is good for a man. We've got some with a little bit of lace, just a little bit to try out. If you have never had hand knit socks on, they are the epitome of luxury. They can just feel so wonderful on your feet. You never think about it until someone gives you one. You would be a very special person to receive this. You try it on and you'll know. Other books that I brought from Fulton County Public Library, Crochet Holiday Collection. I'm sure all of you have seen those hand crocheted snowflakes and how beautiful trees look when you have those on them. This also has afghans. That'd be wonderful even in January to sit down and be working on and have that on your lap. A beautiful cross afghan. You could do that you could do any of these out of Christmas colors. This book obviously has other seasons as well, but just a placemat set, things that make each time special. Here's some Christmas elves. And I love the fun for a beard. Another Christmas book that the library had was Christmas in Crochet. Towel toppers for your kitchen, and this might be good to even make for a holiday bazaar. And I know some of you who watch participate in holiday bazaars. You might want to get this out at other times of the year and look through it and make something for sale later. Isn't that a beautiful doily? Lastly, I brought in kind of just a smattering of other books, things that you might not think about, but by golly, dogs get cold too. This is down at the Fulton County Public Library. You could make something for Sylvester, your dog, and he'll never tell you it itches. And he'll always wear it because you're the one who puts it on, unlike your children or your man. So I've had this one on before, but it's a really great one if you're wondering, what am I going to make for the man in my life? Well, maybe you want to get this out and show it to him and ask him if he'll wear it before you actually knit a whole sweater. For those of you who don't knit or crochet, do you own a sweater? I think you do. This is a really fun book at the public library called The Sweater Chop Shop. And what it is all about is having an old sweater. Maybe it's one that has sentimental value for you in your closet, or maybe you just go down to Goodwill and you find a color you really like. And you can make a pillow out of it, make a dress out of it. There's instructions for washing it, for cutting, how you get the most out of it. Some of these use the cuff or the ribbing. You cut that and you use it for, ooh, look at that, an entire quilt. For someone who loves wool, that's just really fun. Or you take, again, it could just be colors or it could be textures. Two of these here have cable on it. Just a really fun thing to make something stand out in your room. And let's find at least one more to show you. Stand-up ragamuffin. Here's a funny little doll made out of, a little bit scary. But this is something super fun you could do with your kid over Christmas break. If they have nothing to do, you tell them don't cut up any sweater. Here, let's cut up these three and make a stegosaurus. And there's nothing more fun than that. Make something with your kid instead of just setting them down in front of the electrical toy. So those are the books I wanted to show you. And I hope that you take advantage of this Christmas break by going to the library, getting out a crafting book, going to Goodwill, getting something fun that has the colors or the textures you like, and then go ahead and craft, whether it's knitting, crochet, needlepoint, embroidery, or just cutting up a sweater. Have fun this Christmas break. Thanks for joining us.
All I got for Christmas was this ugly sweater. Ugly sweater.
On this Christmas edition, we're going to have a story time. So go get the kids, bring them on back. I'm going to be reading a great story by Jan Brett called The Mitten, a Ukrainian folktale adapted and illustrated by Jan Brett. I really like this because it's about knitting and mittens, two of my favorite things. So let's take a look. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool as white as snow. At first, his grandma Baba did not want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. But Nicky wanted snow-white mittens, and finally Baba made them. And Nicky's wearing beautiful handmade socks. Jan Brett did her homework on this. After she finished, she said, when you come home, first I will look to see if you're safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow-white mittens. So off Nicky went. And it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. And look, here's a hint, some foreshadowing. A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. There they are. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. Here's what Nicky's doing. Look who's coming. As soon as Hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled, but when they saw the owl's glinty talons, they quickly let him in. See someone peeking out there? Up through the snow appeared Badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl were not pleased. There was no room left. But when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. Uh-oh. Here he comes. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. Oh my goodness, who is coming next? Look, that bear doesn't even fit on the screen. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as they could be. That looks pretty tight to me. But what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Along came a meadow mouse. No bigger than an acorn, she wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on the top of the great bear's nose. And look what's happening meanwhile. Nicky has discovered something. Uh-oh. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Choo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the air and scattered the animals in all directions. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. As he ran to catch his snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw he still had his new mittens. Yep, but something puzzling has happened. All of those of us who have knit mittens may have been in a similar predicament or heard a similar story about why two of them did not make it home. Thank you for joining me by the roaring fire with my cookies and my mitten book. Have a wonderful and safe Christmas.
Andy Williams wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. He sings Moon River. All my friends got gold.
Welcome to knitting class. Today we're going to talk about another kind of cast-on. We have previously talked about long-tail cast-on, which I think is one of the most useful cast-ons. It has a very strong base and it's not going to easily distort. This cast-on that I'm going to teach today is probably the easiest. It's called the backwards thumb or the backwards loop cast-on. Perhaps you know how to do it. A lot of people learn this cast-on when they're first starting. The problems with it is that it's a very loose cast-on and the stitches can get really wiggly on your second row after your cast-on. I think it's useful in some lace cast-ons. Sometimes people will use it for a button cast-on if you've cast off for a buttonhole and you're coming back on the second row to do a quick cast-on. So let's take a closer look at how this works. So for this cast-on, for long tail cast-on, you have to have a long tail in order to incorporate many stitches. For this cast-on, that's not necessary. So make enough of a tail so that you can weave in your ends. I would recommend at least 8 inches. And the whole idea with a backwards thumb loop is you put your thumb in and then you twist it backwards and put that on the needle. So the first thing, let's do the slip knot. I don't always do slip knots because they're not necessary, but it certainly does anchor your yarn and keep it from coming off, especially for a new application. So here's our slip knot. Now I take, knot the end with the tail, the end connected to the balls, put your thumb underneath it and twist your thumb back. You've made a little loop. Coming from the back of the loop, put that on your needle. All it is a twist. If you don't twist it, if you're wondering, okay, we're going to do it again. Thumb underneath, bring it up, twist backwards, backwards loop, and put it on. Here's our slip knot is 1 stitch and our 2 stitches cast on. Put my thumb in, pick it up, twist the loop all the way backwards and put it on. If you're wondering, oh dear, I don't remember, which way was I supposed to twist my thumb? If you put it on incorrectly, if I take it and I twist my thumb, but I don't come through the backwards loop, if I just put it on like this, don't worry, it doesn't actually make a loop. So if you're doing it incorrectly, it won't make a loop. If you're doing it correctly, you'll get a loop on here and you can continue with your knitting. Let's do it again. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to knit this first row. I have 5 stitches I cast on and 1 that was with the slip knot. And I'm going to see if it will allow some extra yarn through. Like I said, that's kind of the negative aspect of this cast on. Every time you knit your first row, it's always very stiff from the cast on. So the first row is often the hardest to knit. There's 1 stitch. With every stitch I make, it pulls, and then when I take it off, it tightens that final row. So now I'm starting to get a little bit of a long strand between my stitches. That is the nature of the backwards loop cast on. I don't think there's much you can do except make sure you don't tighten and pull your needles apart. Do you see? The only thing between my stitches is one strand of yarn. And if I were to straighten out, then you might potentially get a big gap, and your last one will not snug up because of your slip knot. So you're left with a cast on row, yes, and yes, you've been able to knit into it, but you might have a little bit of a sloppy bottom. That might not be anything you're concerned about at all. For a scarf or mittens or a sweater, again, it is the easiest cast on to do, but it also can be a little bit weak. It's definitely a good one to have in your arsenal. Go ahead and try it out. And for those of you crocheters out there, you can try this with a crochet hook. Try casting on with your thumb on the back of a crochet hook and see if you too can do that. I wonder if that would at all work in a Tunisian crochet applique. Please let me know, any Tunisian crocheters out there. Thanks for joining us on knitting class, and I'm glad that you can learn another cast on.
Ugly sweater. It makes me look just like Nat King Cole. He's unforgettable. All my friends got better things than this ugly sweater. Ugly, 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 ugly. Thank you very much, and I'm gonna take it back. You'd better give me the receipt. You should see this ugly sweater. Ugly, unattractive, ugly sweater. He looks like crap in his Christmas sweater. Boom, 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 boom. All I got for Christmas was this ugly sweater. Ugly sweater. Andy Williams wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. He sings Moon River. All my friends got golf clubs. Me, I got this sweater. That's way too small for you. Boom, 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 boom. And I'm gonna take it back. You'd better give me the receipt. You should see this ugly sweater. Ugly, unattractive, ugly sweater. He looks like crap. It's ugly, it's itchy, and it's frightening to children.